Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. According to Simon Stone from the BBC, Manchester United are close to appointing Ralf Rangnick as interim manager on a 6-month contract. Ralf Rangnick will not be in charge for the game against Chelsea this Sunday, as he waits for the work permit. Rangnick will leave his position as the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Rangnick won the German Cup with Schalke back in 2011. He also got Schalke to the Champions League semi-final. He also got RB Leipzig to the final back in 2019. So for the game on Sunday, Michael Carrick will be in charge. Of course, that will be Michael Carrick's last game as interim manager. Michael Carrick won his first game as the interim manager because Man United recently beat Villarreal 2-0. Reflecting on the win against Villarreal, Manchester United qualified for the knockout stages of the Champions League with still one game to spare in the group. I give Carrick a lot of credit against Villarreal because I thought his game plan was correct and his substitutions were correct. The Telegraph did say though that Man United are looking to appoint an interim manager as soon as possible. And it did mention that there was a 5-man shortlist. The names that have been mentioned, obviously Ernesto Valverde was mentioned. You know, Manchester United have held talks with him. Valverde has been managerless for almost 2 years. His last managerial role was Barcelona. He was sacked by Barcelona back in January 2020. Also, Lucien Favre was mentioned. Rudi Garcia was also mentioned, and Paulo Fonseca was mentioned. Manchester United will get a permanent manager at the end of the season. I think we'll get Pochettino at the end of the season. Now, yesterday, he said PSG rejected Manchester United's move to appoint Mauricio Pochettino. Prior to PSG's game against Man City, Pochettino said that he's happy at PSG and he won't let the Man United rumours distract him. But earlier on this week, reports were saying that Pochettino's interested in the Manchester United job, and the Manchester Evening News came out and said that Man United are confident of appointing Mauricio Pochettino as their next permanent manager, and Man United agreed to pay the $10 million compensation fee. And it said Pochettino was prepared to quit PSG and become Manchester United manager now. You know, Man United should have got Pochettino after the club sacked Mourinho, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. He's a good manager, is Pochettino, even though he's hardly won anything. I think he has won a trophy at PSG. He's got a full season left on his PSG contract. Pochettino is proven in the Premier League as well because he managed Tottenham before. He endured 5.5 years at Tottenham and he almost won the Premier League at Tottenham, and he guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final back in 2018. He managed Southampton before. He only enjoyed a short tenure at Southampton, but he did guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the league so far. Premier League, that is. And before, he managed Espanyol. There's been other managers that have been linked with the permanent job at Man United. Obviously, Brendan Rodgers has been spoken about, but obviously I disregarded Brendan Rodgers because not so long ago, Brendan Rodgers dismissed links to Manchester United. You know, he said, "I'm proud to be at Leicester," but Rodgers was recently contacted by Man United, and obviously Zinedine Zidane was linked with a permanent role at Man United, but not so long ago Zinedine Zidane said that he's not interested in taking over at Manchester United because he doesn't feel ready for the Premier League at the moment. Zidane's been linked with the job at PSG and PSG have been in contact with him. Eric Ten Hag, you know, he's been spoken a lot about. He's been linked with the permanent role at Man United. You've got to admire what he's done at Ajax. You know, he's won a few trophies with them. He develops the youth well. He's been Ajax manager for 4 years. As you all know, last Sunday morning, Solskjaer was officially sacked by Manchester United following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. As you all know, Solskjaer did a farewell interview and he got emotional in that farewell interview, which is understandable because, you know, he has been part of the club for a very long time. You know, obviously Solskjaer endured 11 years as a player for Man United, and of course he was Man United manager for almost 3 years, so that's nearly 14 years in total. Despite Man United sacking Solskjaer last Sunday morning, you know, all United fans still adore him, you know, because Ole is a legend of the club and he always will be a legend of the club. Manchester United paid Solskjaer around $7.5 million because last summer he signed a 3-year contract with an option of a further year, but Manchester United should have never give him that contract. So that was a mistake from the club. I was surprised though that Solskjaer lasted nearly 3 years as United manager, but the reason he lasted that long is because he's a legend of the club. You know, disregarding being a legend of the club, I can assure he would have been sacked a long time ago. Solskjaer has no proven pedigree as a manager though. The clubs he has managed in his managerial career, of course, he managed Manchester United's reserve team for a couple of years. He managed Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was disastrous. The reason he got sacked from Cardiff because he got them relegated. He also managed Mulder. He endured 2 spells with them. I think he won a few Norwegian titles with them. And he also managed Manchester United's senior squad. So there you go. But reflecting now on he was United manager, you know, he gained some managerial experience and he learnt a few different things when he was in the job. But I knew for a long time that Ollie was not the long-term manager for United. But reflecting on the poor performances, Solskjaer was accountable for certain things because his tactics and his team selections were questioned a lot, but not all of the blame stemmed from Solskjaer. Let's just put that into the equation. There was also players that had to take responsibility for those poor performances. Reflecting on the 4-1 defeat to Watford last weekend, that's 5 defeats in the last 7 in the Premier League. I said at the start of this season that this season was going to be absolutely massive for Solskjaer. And the pressure was on him at the start of this season, reflecting on the summer transfer window Manchester United had. Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year. Made 4 signings. 3 of the 4 signings were major signings, and Man United spent around £141 million. And plus, the pressure was on him as well because the board did back Solskjaer well in this year's summer transfer window. The Glazers backed him, Ed Woodward backed him. As you all know, Ed Woodward's leaving Manchester United. Is it in January? I heard that Richard Arnold's replacing him as the chief executive. Our director of football, John Murtaugh, backed him, and Darren Fletcher backed him. So reflecting on that, towards the end, Ollie ran out of excuses. Solskjaer did not win a trophy as United manager. Manchester United have not won a trophy since 2017. I'm hoping we can win a trophy this season. But the expectations were far too high for Ollie to exceed as United manager, and Ollie was in a position that he shouldn't have really been in. But Ollie knew when he did get appointed in as United manager that it was going to be a massive job. Not only a massive job, a difficult job as well, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. Ollie was managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. So Ollie did get appointed in as the caretaker manager in December 2018. He was caretaker manager for 3 months, did very, very well. So the club decided to give him the job on a permanent basis back in March 2019. There was positives to take when Solskjaer was United manager. I think he did bring consistency back in certain aspects. I like the way he developed the youth as well. He also made good signings when he was Manchester United manager. Solskjaer signed 14 players. So in the summer of 2019, he recommended Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January 2020, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Igalo in on loan. In the summer of 2020, he brought Van der Beek in, Edison Cavani, Alex Telles, Amad Diallo and Facundo Pellistri. Got 4 of those players on deadline day in the summer of 2020, and of course in this year's summer transfer window he brought Heaton in, Sancho, Varane and re-signed Ronaldo after 12 years. Ollie enjoyed 5 transfer windows when he was United manager, and Man United spent over 400 million under Ollie. Ollie also got rid of a lot of players as well when he was United manager. He loaned players out, he got rid of players permanently. In his first full season, he got us to 3 semi-finals, also got us a 3rd place finish. In his second full season, he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, the FA Cup quarter-final and the Europa League final. That was his first major final as Man United manager, but unfortunately we didn't win it. And Last season he got us a second place finish. And don't forget, when Ollie was United manager, Man United went 29 games unbeaten away from home in the Premier League. When we had Ollie, we was far superior away from home than we was at home, surprisingly enough. Also, a lot of players' contracts got extended when Solskjaer was United manager. And as well, Ollie had beaten quite a few big name managers when he was United manager. You know, he beaten Tuchel, he beaten Nagelsmann, he beaten Klopp in the FA Cup, but didn't manage to beat him in the Premier League. He beaten Ancelotti a few times. He also beaten Benitez. He beaten Bielsa a few times. He beaten Pep Guardiola as well quite a few times. You know, beaten Rodgers a few times. So there you go. But yeah, Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson now. You know, Moyes got sacked, Van Gaal got sacked, Mourinho got sacked, and of course last Sunday morning Solskjaer got sacked. So it's good news now that Manchester United are appointing Ralf Rangnick in. Because obviously we couldn't stick with Michael Carrick for the long term, could we? No experience of managing. As you all know, Manchester United have got very, very good players. You know, look who we've got in the team. You know, you've got Edison Cavani. That's a very, very good player. Cavani's out with injury at the moment until December. He had injury earlier on this season. Cavani's got under a year left on his Man United contract. It was back in May he signed that 1-year contract extension. This season is Cavani's second full season at the club. You know, Man United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. Cavani's got a very good pedigree behind him. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at PSG, and not only that, he was a long-serving player when he was at PSG. You know, you've got Marcus Rashford, that's also good as well. Rashford did really well when he came on against Villarreal. He made an instant impact, had a good chance from a tight angle, produced a good save from the Villarreal goalkeeper. Rashford's done well in quite a few games since he's come back, but he's also endured some poor games as well. Most of the time now Rashford plays on that left wing, but we need to keep him there because that's where he's mostly effective. He's far superior on the left wing to the right wing and up top. At one point Rashford was out with a shoulder injury for a while, and at one point he had to have an operation on his shoulder, but he's been part of the club for a long time. You know, Regional Power Academy. Rashford's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016, and Rashford's got a contract with Man United until 2023. You've also got Mason Greenwood, that's a talented player. Greenwood hasn't been available recently because he's been out with COVID. He's still out with COVID now. Greenwood has scored, 4 goals in the league so far this season. He scored a stunning goal in the 4-2 defeat to Leicester earlier on this season. Most of the time now, Greenwood plays on that right wing. That's where you get the best out of him. He actually played up top though alongside Ronaldo in the 2-0 defeat to City, and the Greenwood and Ronaldo partnership does not work, does it? Quite obvious. At one point though, Greenwood went a while without scoring, but he's been a revelation since he broke into our senior squad. You know, Greenwood made his senior debut for United back in 2019. Been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time, and last season Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. You've got Sancho. That's also a good player as well. Has been poor though in a lot of the games he's been involved in. But Sancho played very, very well in the 2-0 win against Villarreal. It's his best game so far at Manchester United. You know, he scored his first goal for the club against Villarreal. Should have had another goal because, you know, he had a good chance from close range, produced a good save from the Villarreal goalkeeper. But I thought against Villarreal, Sancho's movement was good. He got into good positions, and every time he had the ball, he looked threatening. But now, we might start to get the best out of Sancho. Obviously, we couldn't get the best out of him under Ole. There was quite a few games, though, Sancho didn't even play in when we had Solskjaer. Sancho will do well at Man United, providing that is used correctly. You know, Manchester United got Sancho for 78 million, with add-ons included. Man United paid like 73 million up front. Sancho's got a contract with the club till June 2026. There's an option of a further year. And you've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, Ronaldo did score in the 2-0 win against Villarreal. It was a great goal as well. It was a lovely chip over the keeper. But Ronaldo's goal against Villarreal came from a poor clearance by the Villarreal goalkeeper. Fred contributed to Ronaldo's goal. He also contributed to Sancho's as well. Ronaldo got an assist in the 4-1 defeat to Watford. So Ronaldo's got 2 assists since he re-signed, and he scored 10 goals in all competitions since he re-signed. You know, Ronaldo has got back-to-back awards since he re-signed, because back in October, Ronaldo got named Player of the Month, and back in September, he got named Premier League Player of the Month. Ronaldo has won 32 major trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. He's got a contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. He receives 480 grand a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United at the moment. Ronaldo wears a number 7 shirt, and we got Ronaldo for 19.8 million with add-ons included. We've also got Bruno Fernandes. That's a very good player as well, but he's enjoyed poor games this season. There again, though, he has been consistent in a lot of games for Man United. He's one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. Now, Fernandes played against Villarreal. Well, he came on as a sub. He didn't start, obviously, because Van der Beek started in that number 10 ahead of Fernandes against Villarreal. But he came on anyway against Villarreal, and he got an assist. His good performance when he came on against Villarreal made up for the bad performances against Watford and Man City. Fernandes has been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years. He's won awards at Man United reflecting on his good performances. We got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Earlier on this season, he did mention that he wants to stay at Man United. When he first came to Man United, though, he said, "I've come to Manchester to win trophies." He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. And you've got Donny van der Beek. That's a good player as well. You know, like I said, Van der Beek started against Villarreal recently, and what a good performance he put out. You know, he got in some good positions, he kept the ball well, made some nice touches, made an instant impact when he came on against Watford last weekend. You know, he scored. That was only his 2nd goal for the club. So what I've just said proves how good Van der Beek is. Obviously, didn't get enough game time when we had Solskjaer, and reflecting on that, Van der Beek was frustrated. But hopefully, under Ralf Rangnick, Van der Beek can get the opportunities that he was demanding under Solskjaer. So if he was to get his opportunities from now on, that could persuade Van der Beek to stay. Van der Beek's endured a difficult year and a half or so, 19 months at the club. This season is his second full season at Man United. We got Van der Beek for 40 million, with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. And Van der Beek's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. And you've got Paul Pogba. That's also another good player as well. He's not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. Pogba did enjoy a good start to the Premier League season. So far, Pogba has got 7 assists. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season, but at one point last season he was out with a thigh injury for a while. He sustained a few ankle injuries at Man United as well as Paul Pogba. Obviously, at the moment, Pogba's out with a thigh injury. He suffered the thigh injury in France training the other week. Looks like Pogba's going to be missing the rest of 2021 with this injury. He said earlier on this season that Man United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it makes sense to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, it said Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. And you've also got Raphael Varane. That's a very, very good centre-half. He's already endured 2 injuries since he signed for the club. Varane's got a hamstring injury at the moment. He's out for another, 2 to 3 weeks. Earlier on this season, Varane had a groin injury, and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. But before he got these injuries, Varane did well in a few games. There's been a couple of games where he's looked off the pace. Man United got Varane for 34 million. Include the add-ons, it risen up to 41 million. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. And Varane to Man United was official just before kick-off against Leeds, which was the opening day. But Varane's regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced and got a decent pedigree behind him. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was a Real Madrid player. You've got Eric Bailly, that's a good centre-half as well, but Bailly doesn't get regular game time. Wait there, my phone just beeps. Just looking at some of them. Yes, revert back to what I said. Bailly doesn't get regular game time, does he? He's only made 3 appearances so far this season. Bailly lost his place in the team a while ago, obviously with the signing of Varane in the summer transfer window, and of course Lindelof's being preferred to Bailly. I don't know why, because Bailly is a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. My element of concern about Bailly is injury prone. Towards the end of last season, he signed a new contract with Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. Bailly is in contention to play against Chelsea on Sunday because obviously Varane's injured and Maguire is suspended. Bailly's been at Man United for over 5 years now. We got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for 30 million. Harry Maguire, he's good when he wants to be, but hasn't really proven how good he can be since he become a Man United player. He's had some good games, but he's had a lot more bad games than good games. And Maguire has been terrible this season, and he's been even worse since he came back from that calf injury. Maguire had ligament damage in his ankle towards the end of last season. Hopefully Maguire will regain his form under Ralf Rangnick. But like I've just said, not so long ago he's suspended. I think he's got a 3-match suspension, Maguire, because he got sent off against Watford. Man United overpaid for Maguire, got him for 80 million. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club behind Pogba. And you've got Luke Shaw, that's a good left-back overall. But Luke Shaw's certainly not proven how good he can be so far this season. Luke Shaw's been terrible this season. Shaw's actually got a head injury at the moment. He's suffered the head injury in the defeat to Watford. So reflecting on that, he missed the game against Villarreal, so obviously Tellez played ahead of him. I don't know if Shaw's going to be available for the game against Chelsea on Sunday. Well, obviously if he isn't, Tellez will play again. He's injury prone, is Shaw, which is a concern. But Shaw's been at Manchester United for 7.5 years, so he's been a long-serving player, and he has been our first choice left-back for a while, and he still remains our first choice left-back despite the arrival of Tellez. Shaw's got under 2 years left on his contract. And you've obviously got De Gea, that's a very, very good goalkeeper. De Gea deserves a lot of credit. You know, he's done really, really well so far this season. And he was very good against Villarreal recently. You know, he made some world-class saves in that game. He also did well in the 4-1 defeat to Watford because he saved 2 penalties. He also made some other good saves in the game. So there you go. There's very, very good players at Manchester United. But the reason we haven't been getting the best out of the players is because they've been a team of individuals. They haven't actually been playing as a team. And of course, in the last 2 or 3 months of Solskjaer's managerial tenure, you know, the players were not playing for Solskjaer. Man United are going to offload players next year. You know, Martial will be going next year. Mata will be going next year. Lingard will be going next year. Martial, like I've said, Cavani will be leaving. Not too sure about Van der Beek. Depends on if he gets his opportunities under Rangnick. I think Matic's leaving next year. Good chance Pogba's leaving. I think Tellez will be leaving. Jones and Bailly will be leaving. Dalot will be leaving. And Henderson will be going out on loan. So yeah guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.